All right, so we're going to talk about the Payroll Protection Program. You've helped a number of business navigate this. When it started off, it was 4 pages, two pages to fill in, and then 2 pages of small print. You warned everybody. It says like temporary, not permanent. Well, the last time we had you on, John, or last time I talked with you, it was still 4 pages, but it was like 6 pages for the forgiveness documents, or 11 pages of amendments. Has any of that changed? Has there been additions as far as paperwork goes?
Well, there's been an extension to when you can apply, and that's August. So the president signed in an order that said you could go from July 15th to August the 8th and apply for PPP because there was money left over. And I'm going to tell you, anytime the government wants to give you money and there's money left over, there's a reason. If you don't understand that from this call. People have stopped and said, "Hold on a second. I'm reading all these different criteria that I've got to comply with, whether it's the PPP loan or the EIDL money, which is running parallel with each other."
What's the difference?
Well,
So we know.
Employee Economic Disaster Loan, basically the CARES Act actually had 2 buckets of money in it. One was PPP money and one was EIDL money. And so when you apply for PPP money, you may get an email, and most people get an email from the SBA saying, "Hey, you qualify for EIDL money. Do you want that money?" And so it's 2 buckets of money running parallel, coming out of the SBA administered by the IRS.
Has it been that way the whole time? Because this is the first I've really heard. Have they always had
it's been like that the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. I just have asked the bad questions. That's not your fault. That's my fault. That's okay. So they've extended the deadline. And Rich, I've got a couple questions to ask, but let's get to Rich's because he's been dying to ask this one.
Well, last time we were on, John, you just kind of threw it out of there nowhere. It's just an easy comment. Hey, if you took $300,000 from the government for PPP money, no matter how much is forgiven by the government, you're still going to owe about a third of that back in taxes. Are we still in that same? Are we still in that same boat right now?
We are.
Thanks, John. Hey, it's been good talking to you today. I appreciate this. Wow.
Yeah. So let's you said 4th grade level. Let's really dumb that down to Clint's level. So if I take a $300,000 loan and I use all of it like I'm supposed to use it, right? I follow the guidelines down to the period and the exclamation points. Mm-hmm. I meet all deadlines. I'm as pure as the driven snow. I'm going to pay taxes on that $300,000.
And it's one word: income. That's what it is. It's income. And
is there a box that I can check that says it was? Is there like my CPA can we handwrite another box?
No.
John, I've talked to a handful of different people about this, and a lot of people have said they think that Congress will go back and try to fill in that gap or try to fix that somehow, way, shape, or form. What is your thoughts on that right now? Do you think they'll figure out something to help us on that end?
I think they're working harder on ensuring that there's not lawsuits from a liability standpoint because of what's going on. I think they'll work harder on that than the tax implication, because the IRS is probably on the backside of that saying, "Hey, we need all that money."
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, explain to me what you mean by the lawsuits, just so I can feel for that.
Well, the as you can imagine, with people either being laid off, furloughed, given money, I know companies that have taken money, PPP money, and still laid off their people and kept the money. So what the government's trying to do right now is saying that all these attorneys out here that are just waiting on class action lawsuits to figure out who used the money properly, that they're trying to say you can't do that. Now, it's not been passed. There's not a resolution on the floor or anything like that, but there's discussion about that happening.
So they're going to try to protect. Okay. That's a good deal if you can get it, isn't it? If you can actually go, here's what we're going to do, and there's no recourse.
Yeah, and I think it's because there's been a substantial amount of money taken in by companies that they're not the companies that we work with, Clint or Rich, but it's big corporations, and they have not been judicious with this money by the guidelines that they were supposed to, and they want to make sure that they protect them and they'll get